If your money feels tighter than it used to be, if your budget used to work, but now it feels like it's suffocating you, let me tell you something that might surprise you. Your problem isn't your spending. It's not your discipline. It's not that you're bad with money. Your financial stress is coming from an old system in a new season of life, a new period of your life. Most people think financial stress means they've messed up. And I don't think that's across the board. I don't think that it applies to every circumstance. I think life changes, life happens, and your money system needs to change with it. And when life evolves faster than your system, stress is guaranteed. Here's the truth most people never hear. Most financial stress doesn't come from bad decisions, it comes from outdated systems. Kids change the system. Pay cuts change the systems. Interest rate hikes change the system. Inflation changes the system. Health setbacks change the system. But most people keep trying to make the old budget, the old system work in a life that keeps changing and was never designed for that season of your life. And then they blame themselves. They get frustrated. They get annoyed. They think, why isn't this working? This video isn't about shame. It's not about guilt. It's about, definitely not about motivation. It's about power, empowering you. Because once you understand why your budget's broke, it's not working, you can rebuild it in a way that actually is for your life and shaped around your life, your circumstances, the thing you're into right now. There are two factors in life, two forces shaping every decision that happens in your life, especially financial ones. And if you don't understand the distinction between the two, you'll either live frustrated or you'll live empowered. You'll either live in a victim mentality or you live in a victim mentality. These two factors, they are contributing factors and determining factors. And often people get them confused and they get stuck in ruts because they don't understand the difference between a contributing factor and a determining factor. And once you see this clearly, you'll stop blaming the economy, you'll stop blaming the system, you'll stop blaming the government, you'll stop blaming somebody else, and you'll start taking responsibility for your life and start to be able to rebuild it financially with intention, on purpose. Let me show you what I mean. Before we talk about budgets and numbers, and let's talk about responsibility. Not in a shaming way, but in an empowering way, because whoever is responsible is the one that has the power to change something, and you have the power to change something. The two factors, determining factors and contributing factors. Contributing factors are things that happen to you, happenstance, life, things that are outside of your control. You didn't choose them. You didn't vote for them. You can't take control of them. Things like inflation, like changing the job market, like the economy. They're outside of your control. The government making decisions, outside of your control. They're real. I'm not ignoring them. I'm not downplaying them. Someone might have done something bad to you. I'm not downplaying that, but I'm saying it's outside of your control. It happened. We can't change that. We've all lived life. Yeah? We've all had life happen to us, and bad things have happened. Determining factors are different. Determining factors are how you respond. What are you going to do when life happens? How are you going to take responsibility and live that out? They're the skills you build. They're the systems you create. They're decisions you repeat. You just don't let life influence you. You shape it. You don't control what happens, but you're responsible for what it determines. That sentence will either offend you or free you. I'm hoping it frees you. Here's what that means. You can acknowledge inflation without surrendering to it. You can acknowledge the economy. It's tough without letting it decide your future. You can admit life is hard at times without letting it define you, letting it control you. And you can see this across the board throughout life. You can see people that have that victim mentality where they think it's someone else's problem, and they're not taking personal responsibility and building their own life. They're thinking, this person, this system, this government, someone I loved took advantage of me. and now I'm stuck because of that. That's true. That thing happened, and I'm not downplaying that. But if you take responsibility, you can rise out of it. But there's plenty of examples throughout history where people have been in worse circumstance than you and me. They've been impoverished, they've been enslaved, they've been abused, neglected, and they've risen above that. They've taken on their own responsibility, taken the determining factor, and risen above that and changed the world. Let me be clear, this isn't about guilt. It's not about pretending life is fair, because it's not fair. It's about understanding where your power actually lives. And your power lives in what you decide to do next. I didn't understand this early in my life. I kept focusing on what happened to me instead of what I could build after it happened. And here's what I learned the hard way. I didn't need motivation. I needed a new system. This isn't theoretical for me. I didn't learn this on a book. I didn't read about it. I learned about it firsthand when my life changed. Not gradually, not over a long period of time, but instantly. In a moment, my body changed. I broke my neck. I became a quadriplegic. My income changed. My future, or at least the future that I'd planned for myself, disappeared instantly. And here's the part most people don't talk about. The biggest problem, the biggest pain wasn't fear. It wasn't even the money. The biggest problem was that my financial system, the plan that I had, was no longer going to fit where I found myself in life. I had a budget that was built for a body that I no longer had. It didn't work the same. I had a plan built for an income, a career that no longer existed. I had a financial rules built for responsibility that changed instantly overnight. And the system didn't break because it was bad. It broke because it was outdated. The season of my life changed. And that's what happens to us all. I didn't need motivation. I needed a new system. Motivation can fix misalignment. Discipline can overcome a system that no longer fits the reality. For a long time, I tried to go backwards. I tried to make that old life work again, that old system. I tried to squeeze my new reality into that old structure, and it didn't fit. It was clunky. It only created frustration. Progress didn't start when things get easier. Progress started when I stopped going backwards, started building from the life I actually had. And that's when everything shifted. Not overnight, not all at once, but directionally, on purpose. I stopped asking, why did this happen to me? And started asking, what next? Where do I go? Given the life that I am right now, the point I am right now, what system do I need to move forward? And that's the question that led me to my first step. For every financial rebuild requires. You don't need it. You don't start by adding. You don't start by optimizing. You start by, number one, resetting. And most people think a reset means starting over. It doesn't. In this context, a reset means telling the truth. A reset is the moment you stop pretending and you stop pretending your income what it was. You stop pretending you had the same energy. You stop pretending you had the same time. You had the same health, because pretending feels hopeful, but it's quietly, it keeps you stuck. A reset isn't giving up. Reset is telling the truth. Does that make sense? Most people don't want to reset. They want to optimize. They want to tweak a budget that no longer fits, instead of admitting the season has changed, but the optimization only works a little bit. A reset is asking some real questions. A real reset starts with these questions. Not how do I afford this, but how does this belong in this season of my life? All right? How do I make the numbers work? Not how do I make the numbers work, but in this season, what's this season actually asking of me? Where am I? Trying to take a reset to go, actually, where am I? What are my priorities? What am I actually trying to achieve here? Acceptance is not resignation. It's not giving up. acceptance is clarity. You need to find your starting point. If you're going to go on an exploration, or and you have a map, you need to figure out where you are on the map first, right? Otherwise, you don't know where you're going. You're going to be lost. And clarity gives you that leverage. It gives you that starting point. Once you reset, something interesting happens. You stop trying to maintain a lifestyle, and you start building stability. I was talking to someone the other day, a single mum, and she was trying to talk about building wealth. But we're just talking about her situation. Single mum, got a couple of kids on her own now, and she's working part-time because she's prioritizing her kids. She's prioritizing spending time with them. She's at this moment, it's going to be hard for her to build wealth if the priority is spending time with the young kids. And that's not bad. That's just recognizing this is where I am at today. And I'm not going to be out, if I'm working, I'm reducing my hours because I'm going to spend time with my children, because that's important. And I think that's honorable. You need to be recognizing where you're at. It's going to be hard to build wealth if you're working part-time. But that's okay. That's only for a season. That's not the goal for the rest of the life. It's like, well, this next couple of years I'm going to do that. And then when all the kids are in school and they're all that, I can change them. That's fine. Recognizing where you're at. If you're trying to build a multi-million-dollar business, then that's going to be hard. That makes sense? Okay. Number 2. And this kind of leads into number 2. Reprioritize. Once you reset, the next question is, how do I make more money? The next question is, that isn't the next question. The next question is, what actually matters now? And that's what we just talked about. Every season has different priorities, but most people keep the same financial priorities, even when their responsibilities change, when their focus change. And that's where the pressure comes. Pressure isn't always a money problem. It's a priority problem. In this season, margin matters more than lifestyle. Stability matters more than appearance. Reprioritize feels uncomfortable because it forces you to let go of something, not just expenses, but of expectations. Sometimes the hardest thing to cut out isn't a bill. It's the version of life we thought you were supposed to be living, right? We thought by now I should have been here, I should have been there, but life happens. Here are 2 questions that change everything for me. What must this season fund, and what can wait? What can wait till I'm ready? Must doesn't mean nice. Must isn't survival, stability, or sanity. Must means survival, stability, and sanity. Must means keeping the lights on, prioritizing your health, buying yourself some time. Everything's optional, but it feels important, right? Appearance. A lot of people are financially stressed because they're funding appearances instead of foundations. They're trying to look stable, but they're one unexpected expense away from panic. Reprioritizing flips that. You may look simpler, but you'll become stronger. Here's the deeper reason this matters. When life changes, because it will, your identity changes. And when your identity shifts, priorities have to shift with them. But most people keep the same financial rules. And that's why the old budget feels tight, stressed. Okay, number 3. Rebuild. Rebuild doesn't mean going back. It means moving forward on purpose, on direction. Most people try to rebuild their finances by repeating the old life, the old system, the old way of doing things. That's not rebuilding. That's nostalgia. Rebuilding means redesigning a new system, not one that fits your lifestyle right now, not the income you had, not what it used to be, not the energy, the responsibilities that you didn't have before or do have. The goal isn't comfort. The goal is stability with direction. Rebuilding starts with new assumptions, new income assumptions, new expense categories, new margins targets, because assumptions determine outcomes. Do the right input and the right output will come. Most people treat a budget like a spreadsheet. Static, fixed, rigid, and that's where it breaks down. A budget isn't as simple as a spreadsheet. It's living, it's a system, it's breathing, it needs to adjust, it needs to evolve. This is where most people misunderstand surplus. Surplus isn't excess, surplus is breathing room. It's space to think, space to respond, space to grow. Without space, everything feels like pressure. Rebuild isn't about getting it perfect, it's about pointing in the right direction and working on it day in, day out, on purpose, for a purpose. Life will change again. It's not a possibility. I'm guaranteeing it's going to change again. New seasons will come, new responsibilities, new challenges. The question isn't will it, its question is when it. And then you just have to start again, reset, see where you're up to, reprioritize, rebuild. It's simple. Your job isn't to avoid the transitions. Your job isn't to protect the past or hold on to those things. It's to be adaptable. It's to be adaptable to the new system. Just keep repeating these things. Most people aren't financially stressed because they're bad with money. They're stressed because they're trying to do the new life with the old structure. You can't do it. It doesn't work. Life isn't rigid. It's not fixed. It's moving. It's dynamic. It changes. So if this helps you, let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. And don't forget to restart, reprioritize, and rebuild every season of life. Cheers. Can't wait to see you on the next video.